Good morning. I'm thinking of you all this morning, sitting outside of my house, and just thought I'd say howdy. Um, Earlier this week, I wasn't able to get my computer to record something, and now it's working again, so I apologize for the delay. But it kind of works out just perfect in my view, because there's some questions that have come up on the page that I'd like to respond to, as well as assignment for next week that I think will be helpful. So, anyhow, maybe I'll just begin with y'all with about. So, I hope you're having a good week, and it sounds like many of you are in different stages with your clients. Many of you coming to the end, and it sounds like a lot of folks are thinking about that ending, which is awesome. Hopefully the lecture is helpful to you around that. Um, I think some questions that I heard from the group or comments that made me think, oh, I should address this, include that, of course, the plan that was put out there around termination or closure, the ending, is one plan and one model for termination and closure. It may be the case, I think, Melissa Tutoro, you said this. Um, it may be the case that your client is really interested in sort of making the time with you, much less about closure and kind of getting out all that they want to get out, to get the most out of therapy. That's a pretty normal dynamic that clients implicitly learn what therapy is by whatever the heck it's been for the last several weeks, whatever you've set as your norm. And so it's very useful, it's very important actually that you do say at the beginning of this last session that you are coming to a close and that you're going to give time to that and that you time manage accordingly. And for some clients, I think it's really valuable to say some clients aren't going to want their nature, their way won't be to delve into the ritual aspect or the closing aspect quite as much as other clients. Um, that's quite normal and natural that people will receive that in all different kinds of ways. What I want to suggest to you and sort of push you towards is that you create the atmosphere of what therapy is and how it works. And so please do give time to that. Maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's your whole session. It really depends in a lot of ways on your client's nature, your relationship, how much they're willing to let you lead in that process. Um, but do spend some time, more than 10 minutes, some time. And sometimes it's best when we're changing the pace of therapy or the focus to introduce that at the beginning of the session, meaning uh, to do that kind of thing at the beginning of the session, or say, hey, we're going to spend the last 30 minutes of our session focused on this if you're not spending the whole session on that. And I trust you all to kind of choose what makes sense based on your own judgment. Clients may not get this idea of a gift or anything like that. That's okay. There's no pressure. I want to encourage you not to create a pressure that they give a gift or anything like that, but just that you create the emotional tone. Um, our clients often don't know how to do endings. In our culture, I think many of you have spoken to that. I think, Mari, you made some notes about, oh, I want to integrate this into my family life, even as, my family leaves. Um, yeah, a lot of times we miss that in our day-to-day life, and we don't do that. And it is a part of relationship. It's a part of, in my view, the rhythm, the natural rhythm of all things. I'm sitting outside right now. The trees are falling off their leaves. Sorry, the leaves are falling off the trees. The season is changing from summer to fall to winter. Um, Death, if we look at it in a real big kind of view, death happens, closure happens, transition happens. As I think Eric said, the nature of life is impermanence. This is one moment of that that we want to give honor and space to, even if our clients have never done that with anyone else. It's almost like implicitly through therapy, we often are helping people do relationship better and honoring relationship and honoring closures and movement and the natural cycle of things, which with whatever closure strategy you've decided on or are planning on, that's a wonderful way to teach implicitly that relationship matters, that periods of time matter, that everything has a cycle, and that things close. And so I encourage you to just make that happen, even if it seems a little awkward. We create the tone by the way that we are with our clients and how we are, and trust that it's valuable, just like as other folks have said, oh my gosh, um, I'm feeling insecure, I'm not sure if I matter in this person's life. um, the more we trust that we matter, that this has a purpose, that there has been some gift, that there's an offering that's been made, um, and that this closure is really happening, and we give honor to that, the more we meet that just inevitable need in humans, um, to honor relationship and honor the passage of time and the movements and change of time. So anyhow, those are some tips for you all that are kind of like, I'm not sure how this will go over with my client. I want to just encourage you that it is important, and that and encourage you to experiment with it, and trust it as you make this closure for the first time with a client. As I forget who said, um, someone said on the page, yeah, this is also a marker in time for you all. This is your first client and first closure with a client. And that's incredibly valuable in celebrating your own movement as a therapist, and this accomplishment that goes with that. So do take time to reflect on that and enjoy it as you enter into that process. Okay, so that's my advice regarding the questions that people asked, and just encouragement to structure it according to what seems like the right thing for your client. Give some thought to it. Cool. Okay, the other part that I want to ask you all about is, I know that you all submitted your video, your third video, your third session, the video assignment. I haven't looked at those yet, but I will be this weekend and next week. What I want to ask out of you all is that you send me, you can post it, um, actually probably email is the best way to do it, but email me a section. So tell me where to start watching in this video that you submitted, that is the video assignment that was due last week. And I want you to choose a section that shows your best capacity for deepening. Again, that's one of the outcomes of this course that we're shooting for. And I would like to take a look at a 10-minute section. I won't review it with you, but it will be something that I look at that gives me a sense of where your skills are. So choose the best section you feel that shows your therapeutic relationship and the deepening capacity that you've developed at this point through the skills that we've been coaching throughout this journey. And tell me that 10-minute section that I should look at. And I want to ask you to do that by, let's have you do it by Wednesday of next week, so I can take a look at those. If you can send that earlier, that's great, so I can begin looking at those now. But that will be a part of kind of the check-in requirement for next week. So you can put it in the check-in, you can put it in an email to me. Either one is just fine by me, but please send that 10-minute segment that you want me to look at, that I'll be evaluating your skills on for deepening and your capacity for developing a therapeutic relationship that's really demonstrating those two things. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I look forward to seeing you not too long, 10 days or so, a little less than that. Yeah, what is it? It's about 8 days when we see each other in person for the intensives. So keep up the good work. Continue to really pay attention to these skills and practice them. We're going to get into a lot around these skills of deepening and therapeutic relationship while we meet for our intensives. We'll watch a lot of videos for sure. I know I put it on the website. This is very important. for sure, make sure that you have a zip drive, flash drive, whatever, or have it stored on your computer. The last session that you have with clients, because we won't probably have good internet access at SMC. They're known for not maintaining a good internet connection. So I want you to have a hard, relatively hard copy of this last session, your final session with your client, or the most recent one that you have at that point in time, so we can look at those collectively. That will be a big part of our intensives, and really be able to see your deepening capacity through that session. So, as always, post any questions that you have, this week on the portal. I'll be answering questions through typing responses today and tomorrow and Saturday to this week's. So look at those and keep up the good work. And we'll be engaged in our unit next week as it opens on Monday. And I'll leave a video for you then if there's more stuff that comes up, or this video can serve for that time. I think connection over this distance is, as many of you are noticing, it's a challenge just by nature. We feel more disconnected as time goes on and we haven't seen each other. But I hope that these videos that I'm making are helping that sense of connection and that sense of, hey, Jo-Lynn's a part of this, she's here for you. And I wonder if there's been a feeling that that hasn't been the case. I encourage you to answer in this video. You can write a message at the bottom around that, if there's a feeling that there hasn't been so much connection. And I also encourage you to check in on the portal through your check-in post next week around connectivity in the distance and how that's been for you. Because it is a real challenge of this kind of format, and we want to continue to work to kind of bridge that in whatever ways we can. Our semester is coming to a close for this class, but it's really valuable for me to get a sense of my own learning about how to stay connected with you all in a way that facilitates a sense that we can deepen and develop as a course, as a class, as a teacher, student. And so feedback is welcome on that. I invite it and hope that you'll be forthright with me around it through your check-in post, as well as comments at the bottom of this video. So thanks, and I hope you have a wonderful week, the rest of your week and weekend, and look forward to engaging with you throughout this time before we see each other in person. I'll post something next week around an altar item that we can bring as we do our final, intensive, and still practice that practice of creating an altar. I'll create a theme for it, and we'll celebrate both our intention through that theme for the intensive, as well as our own closure at the end of the week. So know that that's coming too. All right, many thanks to all of you for all of your work this semester, and looking forward to our final time together this following week and next week. All right, see you soon.